and word of the hive, just to kind of get some of these bad vibes out and some of these good vibes in. We have some Palo Santo over here. Feel free to do the same if you guys are near your sage at home. And I know that it sounds kind of hippy dippy, but listen, these things have been around for centuries and for a reason. So they do work. Burning a little bit of sage. Salud, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Salud. Yes, thank you for joining us. We have a fun program this evening. I'm Susan Koss with Mezcalistas and joined with Gilbert Marquez, the Global Brand Ambassador of Ilegal Mezcal, and Victor Castañeda, who is the Director of Operations, the person on the ground in Oaxaca who runs everything there. And we are going to be diving into the whole concept of marketing in Mezcal. Gilbert got us going with a little bit of burning of the sage for the celebration of Indigenous Peoples Day today. And you know, when I came up with the idea of this talk, I didn't really pay attention to the calendar. So it's always nice when things overlap in a way that makes sense. Having been watching the growth of Mezcal in the US market since 2012, basically, I have always looked at the marketing campaigns. I think that it's been very interesting to see the evolution of marketing campaigns over time, how Mezcal is being sold in the market here, how awareness is being built. And being a marketing person myself, I think it's really interesting to dive into whys and hows around marketing. And more specifically, oftentimes when product leaves Oaxaca or Michoacan or Durango or wherever it's being produced and goes to the market, there's a huge disconnect between the place of production and what's happening in the market. And I thought this would be a really great opportunity to talk to both sides. Gilbert, who's on the US side here, well, global side, I should say, and then Victor, who's on the ground, just to see how these things mesh. So I just, Gilbert, I guess if you could give us a little bit of a history of the production history of Ilegal in Oaxaca and kind of the relationship you now have with the primary makers for you, the Mal de Amor Palenque.
So I met Armando and Alvaro long time ago through social media, knew them when they were still in the United States. And then shortly after they left and went to back to Oaxaca. And I always knew that I loved their mezcal. They were producing for a smaller brand, and I loved their espadín. And I always knew that I was going to, no matter which bar I ever worked at, I was going to sell this espadín because it was the most tastiest that I ever tasted. And I fell in love with it. So I started running a bar in Atlanta, the first mezcal bar in Atlanta, called Escorpion. And I said to myself, I really want to focus on what's going on with mezcal. I really want to have a better understanding. And the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is to go down to Oaxaca and meet producers. So I did that. I went down by myself, didn't know where I was going, didn't know anyone, didn't know what I was doing. And I got lost a couple of times and stayed at hostels and just all of the wrong things. But one of the most positive things was I ended up at Armando and Alvaro Hernandez's distillery, Mal de Amor. This was back when it was, they had 2 stills, they had 4 fermentation vats, they had 1 oven, and it was just Armando, Alvaro, and Polo and his brother. These guys were their right-hand mans. And so I went to the distillery and I started talking to them and really just fell even deeper in love with their mezcal and what they were doing. Cut to the future, I'm working with Ilegal and we are growing. We are growing as the industry is growing. And John Rexer at the time says, we need to start expanding production. we need to start expanding production responsibly because we never want to kill what we fell in love with. What we fell in love with was small batch mezcal. Or for actually a even better term is mezcal artesanal within the normas. So we fell in love with this and we wanted to continue to sell it and not ever sacrifice the quality of Ilegal and make it something a little bit more towards industrial. So how do we do this? We need to add mezcaleros to our camp. We need to start building more production because we are looking down the line and we know that this mezcal Ilegal is going to hit, but mezcal in general is going to be something that is going to grow big time, big time. We've seen it. And so what do? Gilbert, do you know any mezcaleros? I do know some mezcaleros, but I think they're working with someone else. Let's go to Oaxaca and let's go visit them. We go, I show up. John is paying, and you know how it is. He's paying the colectivo, and he's like, well, wait a minute. I never paid 500 pesos from Oaxaca City to, all right, I guess you see my face and you want to charge me a little bit more. So he's doing that thing. And I jump out, I run out, and I say, what's up, Armando and Alvaro? They know me. And they run out, and they're like, oh, it's Gilbert, come out. Because they, at the time, because this was back when mezcal was barely starting to boom, the early 2000s. And they also had a restaurant at their distillery. So they seen the car, the colectivo pull up. So there's shit. They run. They run to the kitchen, turn on the stoves, all the fires and everything, and they're like, we're gonna sell some food. Imagine that. They're distillers and they're making mezcal. They're the middle of their production, and they see a car and they're like, not even thinking that they're gonna sell mezcal. This was how, you know, not economically viable mezcal was at the time. Yeah. So I jump out of the car and I walk up to Armando and Alvaro and I was like, hey, love you guys. You guys know me. I'm here with Ilegal and we're looking for producers, but we're not looking for producers to give us 30,000 liters and buy. No, we're looking for producers that we can have a long relationship with and grow together in the same way. They're like, okay, cool, let's sit down. And John comes up to me and he's like, all right, let's go to the agave fields and let's go do all this. And I was like, John, let's sit down, let's talk to these guys. They wanna chat about what we can do. And you're
like, they turned on the stove, so we have to eat first before we do anything.
We went straight to the table. But you know what? The thing about that story is that the relationship with Armando and Alvaro has always been what it is, what we're here for, no beating around the bush. We respect you guys and we want to earn your respect. And how do we do that? We come through with our word and grow together. And so that's been the relationship with Armando and Alvaro Hernandez.
Mm-hmm. It's been pretty, I mean, you know, it's right on the road to Mazatlan, you know, so it's like you always go by it. It was always the place that I stopped to get something to eat. Because, you know, you did stop there to get something to eat.
You should have went to El Pirul, it's better.
Well, yeah, but I was always with Omar, with Oaxaca, and he'd be like, no, we're going to Mal de Amor. But, you know, so having seen how that Palenque has grown over the years to, you know, to where it is today, doing, I think you guys are at the point where it's doing all of your production. I'm not 100% sure.
Victor can answer a little bit more clearly, but they are doing about 80% of our production, or what's the exact figure?
Yeah, we are around the 80% of the production with them. We have been just trying to grow more in that specific area, no? But we are like making the replication of the same Palenque that John and Gilbert found in the first place. So it has spanned, no? It looks a little bit bigger now. But it's just because of that. Now we are putting the same tahona with the same tanks over and over again until we cover the production that we need. And we have to be really precise. Now the maestros and the Nemesio and the guys are always there checking. So it's a better way to control the things. No, instead of just making the things up, we are trying to
Yep.
better.
Yeah,
But
rather
it's
than
nice.
So,
Whenever you
so
can come back, it will be
yeah,
nice.
I cannot wait to be able to come back to Oaxaca. I am anxious to be there.
so
But Victor, tell us a little bit about you and your role and how you kind of ended up there.
Well, I met Gilbert and John Rexer through Omar. No, he is a really nice friend that we had in common, and I used to help him sometimes with stuff, like where we can go, or can you help me out with this? We have like some relation with little producers about different things of Oaxaca marmalade, chocolate, things like that. As I said before, I love to eat, so sometimes that helps. So Omar introduced us, and I helped Gilbert in one event, I think, and we started like to talk and like check the areas that they used to work and with the maestros. And like in Oaxaca, everything at the ends connect, no? And we went to the palenque and we tried the mezcal, and that starts the bond, like the friendship and everything around us. I study a little bit of gastronomy in the culinary school, and I really love how is the process of mezcal. And they were, well, we need somebody to help us here also with the production to check the profile, because we have to be a little bit more specific. We need to connect more with the producers because we have like a little bit of a barrier with the language, so we can do these things. And yeah, I started like to go there and check the maestros and check the people that distills and ferments and stuff, and to learn more about them and their families. So I started working with Ilegal and checking what John really wanted to project with the profile of mezcal that he believes in, through all the mezcales that he tried around Oaxaca and Mexico, and his way down to Guatemala. And I think with little by little, we are like polishing all these things. And the main thing of him that he wants to do here, and to be clear, and maybe that's why I'm also here, like he really tries to keep the tradition, the good way to make the mezcal. And I'm really sure that we are 100% sure how the mezcal is going, where it's coming from, where it's made, how it tastes. Of course, we are a traditional method, and we have like sometimes some issues with the cork, with little things, and with color. But this is mezcal. This is tradition. We are doing it in a good way. So we are learning all the times.
Well, this is a great opening to now dive into marketing, because here you are, you're working with a brand, the producers are working with a brand who from the very beginning has had very cutting edge marketing. And, so it's like, how do Armando and the guys feel, when they have seen some of the marketing? Like, did they know ahead of time what Ilegal was doing in the United States with its different campaigns? Some of it political. There was the Amorous Bunnies, I'll say the Amorous Bunnies campaign. Like what, because here you are, yes, traditional mezcal. This is, there's pride and everything like that. So, Victor, what kind of was the initial response from the guys on the ground in seeing this?
From the beginning, the first thing that I knew about Ilegal was that Donald is un pendejo, no? And I was like, yeah, sure, of course, no? I have family in the US, no? I have family from my mom and dad, no? And we have passed through a lot of things with immigration, with not having papers, with jobs, with not well paid jobs and stuff. So I was like, this is cool. Then I met Gilbert and John Rexer, and I was like, I really like these guys. No, they really believe, they really think, they have a reason for each thing. Even you see just three bunnies there doing what they're doing, it has a reason, a good reason. Donald eres un pendejo, it has a good reason. It's not just to offend. It's like to make clear something that is happening, but he is like the ambassador of those things that are happening, you know? It's not like we are against him and we are like criticizing just him and he is pendejo. No, it's like what is happening around, no? And with this, we have the maestros and we have all the guys that are working in the palenques. And as Gilbert was saying, like Armando and Alvaro, they left Oaxaca, they left their family to be in the US, to be immigrants, to be illegals, to work, to be in bars, to be in places with shitty jobs, good moments, bad moments. They had to come back to Oaxaca because they have to take care of their families, because the mezcal business is going to be lost if somebody doesn't take care of it. The dad is like, what is going to happen with our traditions, you know? And when they met with Gilbert, is like this is our opportunity, you know, because we know how it feels like to be an illegal. We know how it feels like to cross and jump the border and to be treated in a bad way. And we are all illegals. We have family, we have passed through these things. Then they really identify themselves with the illegal thing. Like what we do more in Mexico and Oaxaca, through Ilegal, is more about this illegal, no, because we are all illegals. Now, lately we have been using most the love your neighbor, no, and very specific people use the Donald eres un pendejo, no? Mm-hmm. When they are like more precise specific reasons, it's like they wear it proudly. But most of the kids, because they are kids that goes and come back, they really love the Donald eres un pendejo. It's like I've been there, and not because of him maybe, but the culture and what he represents in the bad moments that I have. He is like the point of the arrow that is like doing something, no? So we haven't had we have not had any issue with them. Mm-hmm. They proudly identify with the brand and what we said, and when they have questions or issues, they ask us, and we always answer with the things that we believe, and we are family. Mm-hmm. And we need to check always about our family. No?
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, the Donald Eres un Pendejo campaign was very interesting because it's so personal and direct. Like you could say Donald es un pendejo, but it's Donald eres un pendejo. And that, you know, like that very focused differentiation, you know, was, well, I mean, you know, initially it was like, whoa, what, you know, and I can imagine for people who are, you know, like living out in the pueblos or new to the city of Oaxaca, that kind of directness in language is shocking and surprising, because that is not a common thing, you know, between friends, yes, but you know, not out in the world, I think.
Everything goes depending, like in Mexico, that's why maybe foreign people have some issues with how we talk. For example, I'm from the south part of Mexico. My mom's family is from the norte, Sonora, Tijuana, Bajas, no? And so we in the south, we are a little bit more calm and like this. But when I go to the north, it's like, ¿qué onda, pendejo? Chingada. And I go, are you mad with me? I'm sorry, I haven't 10 years. Why you're yelling at me?
No, we're friends.
But, primo pendejo. And I'm like, Mom, why should I do that? What is happening? And something that you are like super, super right is there is pendejo, pendejo. Pendejo, no? We have different ways, but everything is through the feeling, no? Or soulmates can be a pendejo, but you, te amo pendejo, no? Or is the totally different thing. So it really depends of the emotions, no? And when we have to explain this to a foreign person, we have to do it well. And it's like, well, let's put in a perspective and we will tell you. And if you don't agree, well, maybe we can talk about a little bit. And if we both are not going to understand, okay, we should just drop it and stuff. But we have to be conscious and respectful of everything in a Mexican way.
Yes, that is often what I say to people sometimes, especially if they don't speak Spanish, is, all of the reading between the lines. It's like, it's not just what's said. It is, it's cabron, like that, how the voice, and then just the things left unsaid.
Or
And
you have someone just giving you full compliments back to back, and they just don't like you.
Yeah, I'm always nervous of heavy compliments. It makes me think there's something else going on. But so I mean, it's an election year, so obviously the Donald Eres un Pendejo campaign it never really went away, but I think it's probably back a little bit more. If the likes on my Instagram page today is any indication, for posting a picture of a poster, and that was actually from Oaxaca, that I saw in a bathroom there. But it's like how the Love Your Neighbor campaign kind of evolved, and that it was kind of this, I don't want to say mellow, but it was gentler than the in your face Donald campaign. And
Yeah,
so
well,
how did that kind of come about?
well, maybe as the tagline, it was a lot gentler because and to be 100% honest, the Donald Eres un Pendejo campaign had the same kind of things behind it, or we were supporting the same kind of things with the Donald Eres un Pendejo campaign. Like Victor mentioned, it's all about having an open dialogue and not necessarily having to explain yourself. But if you want to have that sort of discussion with someone, then I think it's a discussion worth having. So you can get people to better understand where you're coming from and why you say Donald es un pendejo. So the campaign was never necessarily supposed to one, be around for a long time, and God forbid it's around for longer, but it was not just to aventarle tierra or to talk bad about someone. It was also something that we were using to raise funds for different organizations that we know are being affected negatively by his administration. One being the border, refugees, women's rights, just everything that he embodies. And what we were trying to do with the raising of the money and the selling of the shirts is redirect that money to make some sort of positive impact. Luckily through the figure is probably bigger now, but luckily through the Donald Eres un Pendejo campaign, we were able to raise over $60,000 for these nonprofits or these groups or organizations, which is really super positive. We didn't, it was 100% of profits. So now for the Love Your Neighbor, well, we needed a little bit of positivity. As you know, that the political cycle and the news cycle and all of this stuff can just be so stressful. And at a certain point, I'm looking down at my t-shirt. I'm like, I don't even want to see this motherfucker anymore, So the Love Your Neighbor was something that was gentler. But I will say that we are doing the same thing, or not the same thing, but similar things with the money and the way it's directed. Both, in my opinion, are very positive. There's times to love and there's times to fight. We think that Donald es un pendejo is our fight. And we also know that we have to respect each other and love not only our neighbor, but love the planet. If we don't have a planet so we are also working with some organizations that are helping with different things in climate change, beach cleanups. I know I've seen Ricky here on the chat. Beach cleanups in Miami, just different things, trying to use our platform for something positive. We have a large platform. Ilegal is a lot like family. We are a group of, although you'll get some comments on Instagram that think otherwise, but Ilegal is a small group of people, of like-minded people who have similar visions and beliefs. And we believe that, you know, trying to make everybody happy is futile. So what we want to do is just stand up for what we believe in, and sort of put a megaphone next to certain causes' voices using our platform. In short, I think that if I wasn't doing this, I would still be saying the same things. And we are doing this. And I am the global ambassador for Mezcal Ilegal. It's a big position and it's not lost on me. And I think John Rexer and I think this opportunity to work for a company that is not going to stifle my creativity and also put a muzzle on me when sometimes I get angry at this guy. But yeah, I think that more mezcal companies have to do this. You know, I was talking to the marketing team today, and it was funny to me when I asked you when we were talking about this conversation. Well, I was like, well, which other brands are going to join? And you were like, well, it's just you guys. And I'm like, well, that's cool. But also, I wish that there were more brands saying
that was only me. It was just, you know, it was like it's like one of those things of wanting to specifically talk about the marketing campaigns that you guys have done. But I am down to do a larger conversation with other brands on to really talk about marketing.
Awesome.
But like Victor, to go back to you, I mean, what do Alvaro and Armando say sometimes? Do they have ideas when it comes to, you know, the marketing of the brand, or things that they would like to see, or how they think the tradition story can be told? Or
yeah, like most of the time at the beginning when I start to work with Ilegal, most of the people in the fermentation distillation area was like, you come like quite often to visit to us. And I said like, well, that is my job and I'm here for that. And they said like, and how it feels to travel from the US here like at least twice a week just to check on us. And I was like, I live here for be with you guys and see what you need and all that kind of stuff. And they said like, but you know what is happening there now? You know Gilbert, no? You talk with him. And they are always like, what are the news, no? What is happening in the US? Because we don't trust the news, you know? The news, they don't say quite well what is happening. Because we have family and we talk with them sometimes and they say different things that we hear in the news and we see at the TV. And sometimes the maestros, they are like, how is everything with Ilegal? How is everything with Donald Eres un pendejo? How is everything with politics in the US? Like, we need to work harder. We need to, like, as they are working hard to bring an ideology, a political matter to the top and try to make clear something, we have to give a good product too. So we having like working through this thing, you know, like we know that we have to be in charge of production. We have to improve our mezcal every time we can, like make you know, like it tastes better if we let the agave get like a little bit more ripe, no? Or you know what is like this heat, the fermentation, and we are always checking. And they said like what they think about or production, what they think about this lot and what they think about that, because we really want to give our best like they are giving to us, because they are working and they are selling, and also they can just go there saying pendejo to everybody, no, with a shitty mezcal that is like sugar and alcohol, no? Like we have to back up.
Very true.
We have to back up these things, no? And like to John, I said, like, I'm sorry, boss, but if I sometimes say something or wherever, but it's my name also, no? I live in Oaxaca. If something happens with Ilegal, something wrong, and I don't know what can happen. No, I try to don't think in those things right now because more bad things. It's not good. So, but I'm the one that is gonna keep living in Oaxaca and seeing these people every day. So I have to give my best to these people because I see them more than my wife sometimes, no? And I sometimes they are my kids, sometimes they are my professors, sometimes they are my brothers. You know, we are a family. Gilbert is my family. John Rexer is my family. All the guys in the US are my family. The guy that helped me to water sometimes the cactus they are outside of the palenque. He is my brother. No, we go there. We sit down together when they come to visit. We all sit together. No, we try to be more involved with the community around. And it's like, I'm sorry if we don't go around Oaxaca, Mexico, or Matatlan, you know, like Ilegal this and Ilegal that. We do it through the people that we care. And they are like the main people that is working every day, day by day. And it's like, let's work together. Let's do it right. And that's why also they feel it more and then identify with the brand. And I see it sometimes in Instagram because now they are more and more and more connected, no? In Instagram and Facebook and stuff. And it's like, one day I saw a bad comment, you know? And I said like, no, I don't agree. I know that people, I work there, no? And they proudly wear the shirt of Ilegal and the Donald Eres un pendejo shirt. And we work for Ilegal, you know? We work for this brand. Even we are at Mal de Amor, no? The maestros, they have their own brand, no? That is a wild agave brand, no? It's like we make this brand and we make Ilegal, no? And we wear them both, no? And we produce and we make mezcal, and mezcal is Oaxaca, and mezcal is family, no? And I've never seen, and it's super weird now that Gilbert told me, like, what will happen if somebody doesn't agree with us, no? And I said, like, I really don't know. We will have to talk with him and see what is happening, because then we are doing something wrong and we need to fix it, no? Because it's her family, no? But we haven't been in that position. I hope it doesn't happen, but we need also to know what is going to happen and why, because in between family, we get wrong too, no? But the maestros are super proud. No, the maestros are super proud. They really love to go to the fields and work for this. So
I mean, it's been interesting. But the moment
we all agree.
Yep, I was going to say it's because of how much more, you know, connected we are because of the virtual world and social media, and that there is more service that is coming into areas in Oaxaca and other parts of Mexico that hadn't been there. So people have access to the internet. They can see, you know, what it's like. They can go to an Instagram account. Oh, I'm making mezcal for that brand. And, you know, I think, you know, the marketing campaigns that I can't stand when I see with mezcal is when it just falls into the same kind of alcohol campaign, you know, where it's like, oh, there's, you know, a whole bunch of butts, you know, on this Instagram feed, or, you know, just women doing nothing related to anything that has to do with the product or anything like that. And I say that as a woman, where it's always killed me about, you know, the alcohol world and how alcohol is sold in that way. And one thing I have always appreciated about the Ilegal kind of branding that they have done over the years and from the very beginning is that it has never, ever employed those kind of tactics in alcohol marketing. And from the beginning, it kind of was like embraced the, you know, I don't want to say we're the bad boys, but it's like, we're happy to be like cutting edge, to embrace this Mexican identity and Mexican American identity that, you know, you didn't see happening in other marketing campaigns. So Gilbert, and I know that you know, you've had a lot to do with that. You know, it's like to see tattoos so prevalent, you know, in marketing, which is still shocking to rural areas in Mexico. You know, I know that, you know, these are things that were not part of usually the daily life, and especially in smaller communities.
No, not necessarily. But one thing that I've always appreciated and we've always steered towards was having a very authentic look into what our experience was with mezcal. And this is a very authentic look into what mezcal is to us. When I go down to Oaxaca, I, of course, in the morning go to the palenque and hang with the mezcaleros, and we talk over mezcal and all of that, and that's all beautiful and the most important thing to me. When it comes to enjoying, I think that a lot of the conversations about mezcal can get very dogmatic or very like, this is the only way to drink mezcal and this is not. And you know, my conflict with that was always, well, that's just not who I am, and that's not who my friends are in Oaxaca. My friends are like Victor, my friends are like Pato, my friends are like George or George. And we enjoy mezcal in a different way. So I think that the reason why we were always able to come across very genuine and unwavering in a lot of ways was because we were marketing something that was a true experience, our true experience of what mezcal is. You know, we never wanted to be, although I do appreciate them, but we never wanted to be that sarape and sombreros brand, you know, although we do have hats.
Well, I mean, I think that that's a challenge that you see in some of the other in some of the marketing campaigns, is how much emphasis has been placed on, you know, the rustic aspect of mezcal making, and you know, and how that plays up, you know, kind of the idea of the nobility of poverty in places,
and so we have a pretty great connection with the local community in Oaxaca, and Victor can elaborate a little bit more. But we understand and know that social media and marketing is not, we're not saying that we're being disingenuous and pushing some sort of narrative, but this is what the experience is to us. And while we also know that it's very important to be active in the community within the mezcal category, especially. Victor, you could probably talk way better about what we're doing actively in the communities in Oaxaca, but that's not necessarily something that we need to also constantly tout or, you know,
showing off.
Yeah, I mean, it is a, you know, having worked with a lot of the different brands, I have appreciated it when people have been able to create very clear brand identities, so that, you know, when it comes to, you know, opportunities that might arise, I'll be like, oh, you know who would be perfect for this is this brand, because I'm very clear on what it is they're doing, what, you know, like from the marketing standpoint, etc.
And just before Victor touches on this, the way I've always explained it is that Ilegal is very much like an onion, and maybe it's just because I'm hungry, but the outer layer and the social media and all of that is always and has been not just tattoos, but rock and roll and not just like a fake lifestyle, but a very genuine. Everybody, you know, most of the people who are on our photos on our Instagram are just very close friends of ours. We don't just hire people with tattoos just because we want to hire people with tattoos to be on our social media. And then you peel back that layer and then you see what is actually happening with the juice, how it's actually made. And we invite everybody who's watching to go down to Matatlan once it's safe, to experience what Matatlan is like and what Mal de Amor is like and how we make the mezcal, because we're very, very proud of that. And then you peel back that layer and then you see what we're doing philanthropically, what we're doing with our campaigns. It's just multi-layered and such a rich brand and a genuine brand. But Victor, I think maybe you wanted to talk a little bit more about what we do actually in Oaxaca that we don't necessarily put in the forefront of social media or anything like that, because we know that it's important, but it's also not something that we need to leverage on social media for whatever reason.
Yeah, at the end, like Ilegal is so diverse, no? Gilbert has like a mix of culture and things and family and his beautiful baby and his way to eat and think and say the things, or the other people that works as ambassador or here. Then at the end we can all sit down and talk about these things, and even we are like living so far away from each other and we have like different culture and different language, we connect in somehow. Like we are as we want to be, and we are true people, you know. We are not like faking something or something like Gilbert makes hats. He loves hats and he makes hats, and he is so good with hats, and he has this style that he creates his style of hats, no? And he wears them, and now he is like producing them, no? Like I have a little store I like to eat, then I go around giving people food, no? Or like if you enjoy me, you invite me to eat, I will love to eat with you, or things like that, no? So we all have or likes, no? And if you talk with whatever person from the brand, you can see that they have their own specific projects, and they are doing it in their way, no? We have the guy full of tattoos, the guy with no tattoos, the guy that is bald, the guy that is super long hair, the guy tall and short, and we love all each others, and we are for all around Mexico and the US. So this goes again to the palenques, where some people has been in the US, they have like this little mix and they have different ways to see the things. Or when we start like discussing the thing about the COVID, no? Some people said no, some people said yes, in the same palenque, no? And we have these fights. No, it's not true. The air, wherever the mask, it doesn't work, no? But at the end, now we take care of each other, because it's like, well, if is or not is, I care about you. Do you care about me? Please, like, let's do the things right. No, because if we work together, we will last, and we will be together working well, and we are gonna keep doing the things that we want. No, so taking these things too, and again, Ilegal working through these people that we love to do things. As in Matatlan, like the people in charge of the town, the police and stuff, they come and say like, it's gonna be the party of the town, no? Do you want to help? Yes. What do you want? Mezcal? Well, in Matatlan, mezcal is everywhere, right? You have to bring 20 liters, 40. You don't have to ask those things. But it's like, oh, fireworks, no? Or 1 hour of the band, 2 hours of the band, no? And you go with them, no? But also you have to work. You have to make the tequios. Oh, we have to go and clean the river, no? And we go and clean the river, and we participate as a member of the community, because we are that. We are working there. We're using the resources. The people that works there is from Mitla, Tlacolula, all around. So we have to be responsible of those things too. We can't just be taking out. So that's why also we are building or helping to the school with an instrument or a drum set, or like they have the annual parade of that they make like exercises, routines and dancing and stuff, and the competition of basketball. And it's like, Victor, what happened here? Oh, we donate basketball balls, and we donate shoes and and it's perfect. No, we want to work with the community, no? And it's like, oh, give us some shirts and we can wear Ilegal wherever. It's like, oh, it's your school, it's your town, it's your thing. Just feel them, you know? Go through those things. And we like to go through those things because they are real and they are themselves. No, even we are like in this, in Mexico is this sponsor thing all the time. And for somebody to help you, you have to be Mark, no? The biggest Mark ever. And it's like, put whatever you want. You want to have a Pikachu in your shirt? Come on, go and have it. If that makes you happy. If you are
I'm going to remember this, Gilbert.
Well, listen, that's our next ad campaign.
No, but I mean, like the concept of, you know, Takeo is so cool. And how would it ever be, you know, like how could you build a marketing campaign just with that idea at the center? Because it is something that's so beautiful within the communities, of this idea of everybody has this role to play, this part, you kind of come together, you do it. Because I think if I give you a marketing campaign and you go with it and you make a lot of money, no, but I mean, just the idea that going forward, especially here with everything happening in the United States, like we have to repair community here. And, you know, how, I mean, could you see that kind of a campaign being built around, you know, Mezcal, as, you know, as a community kind of, does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think the communal aspect of Ilegal is a lot of things, but it's not necessarily specific to the Takeo. We obviously are very active in that. And when I say we, I want to be very specific. I'm not there, and I don't want to ever make it seem like I'm taking any sort of credit. The mezcaleros, the workers that work there, Victor and all of the Oaxacan team are out there, and they are representing Ilegal. But it's not necessarily something that we need to. We're not doing it for the post or for the gram or anything like that. No, and I know what you're saying, but yeah, our communal efforts and pushing the sort of this idea of community has a lot to do with lately voting and voting locally, but not necessarily anything around that. But it could be a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yes, as John says, the message always comes first. The market is very secondary. So, which is true, especially for any marketing campaign to be successful. The message has to, excuse me, the message has to come through, and it needs to be clear. And I think, again, I will say you guys have done a very good job with that, which is, you know, it again makes it easy to know, oh, I have to ask Ilegal about this because this is their space and what they do. I mean, Victor, if there was a message that, you know, you don't think is currently getting out, about, you know, what the mezcaleros are doing or what's happening at the Palenque, what would you like to see as something that's kind of, for lack of a better word, marketed, or that's talked about?
Well, every brand has their way to do their things, no? And Ilegal has like its way to do the things, but also sometimes it's like if you see the pages or the Instagram or Facebook or other brands, it's over and over and over and over the same things, and it's like, okay, it's good. It's like when you go out to Mezcal Parade, you go to the same stand, to the first stand, and they give you all the history of Mezcal, Mayagüel, and all the things, and the history, and the Mezcal, and the production. You try one, and then you go to the next one, and it's the same thing. And it's the same thing, and over again. And I think people has like listening that a little bit too much. Yeah, we do those things, and we really go through those things. We really go and try to be certificate mezcal and try to do in the precise way that it needs to be done. And you can go to the Palenque from 9 to 5, Monday to Saturdays, and you will see how we produce, how all the bottles, you can see the people putting the wax, and you can see all the process. We already have it, no? If you have any question about how Ilegal is done, or you have issues or wherever, you can come and we can solve it. You can see it. You can ask to the guy that is like talking with the Palomo, that is a horse that helps us in the town.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask the guy and things like that. We don't have anything to hide. I know that production is super important. I know that the tradition is super important, but also we have the ways to prove it, and we do it like that. And in the US right now, the matters and the issues are different, and we want to fight, and we want to celebrate, and we want to be with our people through our mezcal, and to share, and sometimes we don't talk too much maybe about production, and they say like how these guys communicate with these people. We talk like this, no? Every week we have several meetings with marketing, with Gilbert. We have classes, and other brands give us classes. We give talk to other brands.
You spoke on one, Susan.
I know. Yeah.
No, we have been in events with Gilbert in Ciudad de Mexico, and we don't have our stand there, like Ilegal and these things. No, like we are drinking with the other mezcaleros. We are drinking even with people that they said that we should not be drinking. It's like, why you're telling me this? Like, this is people that is working and trying to do their best. Like, and we are all together here. We are mezcal, and we just want to do it well. No, we will have the moment to say all the things that we want to say. But also, I think that John and Gilbert and all the people that work in Ilegal, we prefer to show what we do, the people to see it for real, here in the glass with the flavor, that being just explaining over, oh yeah, but you have to be sure that we do it in a fermentation tank that is from wood and, certificated. Yeah, well, it's there. It has the numbers. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Drink, come on. Well done. If you don't like it, tell us. We maybe can do something, There's better things to do, no?
It's true. I want to give people an opportunity to ask to ask questions. You can use the chat function or the Q&A function. I'm very curious of what's next, like what the new kind of marketing campaign is going to be. Fingers crossed that it's not another 4 years of Dando eres un pendejo. But
from your mouth to God's ears, and this week and the rest of the time until the election day, we are going to push for people to go and vote, and also vote locally. Make sure that your kids are going to a good school. I was raised in Orange County and went to school in Anaheim, and I probably went to the shittiest school ever, and I don't talk too good as a result of it. And you know what? I think that a lot of that could have been avoided if more people were out and more active. It's rare nowadays to see people call up all of their relatives and say, hey, are you going to vote? Are you making sure that you're going to vote? This election, I think that more people are doing that, and I've actually done that too. But before, being politically active was going to a couple city council meetings, and that's bare minimum, you know what I mean? So we want people to be a little bit more active in tending to our own garden, is what John always says, making sure that that my daughter is going to have topsoil in her, like this, all of the stuff that is just going away.
Did we ever think that we'd have to have conversations about the importance of topsoil?
We need to know. We need to talk about topsoil.
Yeah.
So, yes, we have to get Donald Trump out of office, in my opinion. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying for everybody. In my opinion, I have to get him out of office. We want him out of office, and I want to encourage all of my friends to vote him out. And also, while you're doing that, don't be a single issue voter. Don't be a single office voter. go and vote for all of the other offices, and don't just look at, oh, this person has the same last name as me, voting for him. No, be informed. And I think that that's what we're going to focus on. And hopefully, knock on plastic table, that we don't have to deal with another 4 years of this shit show train wreck.
Yep.
And that's what we're doing for the next couple of weeks.
Yep. I would say that I'm actually hoping that some members of my family don't vote, and I'm not actually encouraging them to vote. So, you know, that's
fake.
it's
You
okay.
got to apply it where you can. If you know that someone is going to vote in certain directions, then you just tell them that, you know what, I agree with you. It's fake news. Let's not even go.
Yeah, let's not bother. But I agree. I think, oftentimes people forget that, we do have to be voting for school boards. We have to be voting, for all of that. In terms of, like what was kind of a brilliant marketing campaign that's not Mezcal related, and actually used women's butts in a very, 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 very proactive and interesting way, was the group of exotic dancers out of Atlanta, who put together the Get Out and Vote, Get Your Booty to the Poll commercial, which was very funny and very effective. So I think that's where we have to be putting our energies. So we do have a question from Eric Foster, that when he was first introduced to Ilegal, he had a misperception that the team must be enormous with all of the presence that it had. Now, he knows that it's a small group that makes a big splash. What other misperceptions about Ilegal are there out there?
I think that because we do have a large presence in marketing, that people think that we are an industrial mezcal or something like that, or a mezcal that is lacking when it comes to the production of the juice, that we are owned by Bacardi. That is a big one. John still has 100% say, still CEO of the company. And that is one of the biggest misperceptions of Ilegal, that we are owned by Bacardi. But I will say also that the production is, we're not transparent with production on social media. So that means that at the distillery, weird things are going on. But we know, and my Palo Santo, but we know, and are smart enough to know that the social media and the marketing is one thing, but we know that if you have great mezcal in front of you, like Victor said, that makes all of that other stuff possible.
It's very true. And just to be clear, yes, you're not owned by Bacardi, correct?
No, we are not owned by Bacardi.
Okay. That's
totally different.
Yeah.
Well,
I would say I appreciate the fact that you guys do see the role that marketing can play, and that you have used the voice in the manner that you have to raise awareness on issues around immigration, specifically around choice for women and their bodies, and also encouraging people to vote. So it is appreciated when the brands in the market that actually have marketing dollars are able to put it to a larger use.
Because this is us. Because we have gay people in the bar, in the company, right? We have, my wife is a dreamer. My wife is under the DACA Act. We have immigrants or ex-immigrants in the company. We have a very diverse crew, and not by necessarily design. It's just we all came together organically, and we're like-minded, and it's just the people that we kind of just attract everybody to the brand, and not just one type, I guess.
Well, aside from the tattoos.
That's just
I'm
me.
totally, no, I'm totally
But you know what?
kidding.
That's just me. That literally is probably just me and like one other person. Like everybody else is, you know.
Everybody else has tattoos.
No. I don't think so. That's another. I think that's another misperception about Ilegal, that we are only tattoos and rock and roll and too cool and that type of thing. And hey, that's in everybody else's mind. No, we hang out with everybody. We do we do try to be inclusive with everybody. And I know that sometimes my tattoos on photos can be hard to get past. But when you get to know me as a person, you won't even see my tattoos anymore.
I'm gonna blow the Gilbert cool facade right now, just to say that I've known you for several years. Some initially not even through Ilegal, but through mutual friends in Southern California, and I can attest to the fact that in your heart you're a total nerd, and whether you nerd out about music or mezcal or agave fields or things like that, you are a nerd.
Total nerd. Yesterday, I'm on a group chat with I'm in a group chat with the California team, and everybody is like, the Lakers won, the Lakers won, the Lakers won, and I was like, oh,
One
sorry. I was like, sorry, I don't really sports. And I was like, is that good? Was that like the Super Bowl for like basketball? And one of the guys said, yes, the Lakers won the World Cup. I was like, well, how many touchdowns did they score? Yes, I'm the biggest nerd, and my name is Gilbert, so I had to get tattoos on my face.
Yes. Well, any other questions from the audience? I mean, Gilbert and I can chit chat all we want. We can bring Victor into it and talk about food. But I mean, I'm, because of the work with the Mezcal Collaborative that you guys have been a sponsor of and supporter of, it is this idea of how to do category wide promotion around mezcal, and especially now with the importance of retail for the mezcal category, which is a huge challenge as to how you penetrate that market. And this is the marketing campaigns around that are always on the back of my mind. So the Tequio idea is like, maybe that's the good category wide one. As we think about community and different things that we can do. But I don't see any other questions popping up. But any last words, Victor, on, your thoughts, especially around politics and branding for Ilegal?
Well, I really like to be working for Ilegal. I really have learned a lot. My wife has always helped me also to understand the different things between the culture of the US and how a marketing thing is in the US and how is it in Mexico, no? And so she has been like she has given a lot of help, because sometimes I don't understand. I get super mad and I said like, hey, can you help me with this? And she said, no, it's okay. But sometimes it's like, hey, should I be mad with this? Like, that jackass, no? Or something like that. So I have learned a lot with this brand, with the maestros. For families, I think they have grown a lot. They let you be, and they support you. And they are always pending, like, hey dude, how you doing? Hey bro, this and that. So I've never seen that in any place. I also work like in several restaurants, and I was like 14-16 hours working, just doing the dishes, going with the grill, and you don't have any social anything. You are just yelling at the next chef or to the waiters, and this is so different, and you go to the places and they invite you to eat and to drink and to share, and now it's like, oh, and my daughter and the kids, and you can see the things. and it's really, really nice. And also you can see it through the Instagram pages, and all the people like that is participating in the videos and the photos, they are friends, they know each other, they talk to each other. It's not like post, no, and the other one photo, no. It's really happening. It's something that is really happening, and we are really true about what we do. And I think we have a great product. We are working and learning more and more. You know that mezcal is like growing in the market, you know, to be more known. We are compared with tequila, and sometimes we see at tequila because they are like the ones that are leading the technology and all these things, no? But for example, at the Palenque, with John, we are always like, let's use this instead of this, no? Yeah, this is more expensive, but that really doesn't matter, you know? It's like the right way to do the things. Let's take out plastic, let's put glass, let's put copper, no? But always taking care of the things and doing it in a traditional way, and the good way, you know? And they do the same thing in marketing with what they post, with what they say. They sometimes post things and some questions come and they answer. No, sometimes Gilbert come, hey, I really don't know these things, but we have different things, like you saying, like, what do you think about Donald eres un pendejo? Like other people comes to me when I wear the Donald eres un pendejo, it's like, have you seen your president? And it's like, yeah, it's a pendejo too sometimes, sometimes, or whatever you want to see it. No, but at the end, we are all pendejos in one part of our lives. So let's keep going and don't fight with the things, you know, like if we are going to truly fight, don't fight with the guy that is here, that you're not going to solve anything. Just do the things correctly. And I really appreciate that you invite us, and also that all you guys are listening to my things.
No, thank you very much. I was gonna say, we mezcalistas have a program with Ilegal Mezcal. It was supposed to be live at our Mexico on a Bottle events this year, but the unfortunate thing is we have no events this year. So we took it to the virtual world, and it's the concept of Mexican pop-up bar. Every third Thursday, we have a new IGTV video, which is just showcasing the different types of craft spirits that are coming out of Mexico, and giving highlight to Mexican ingredients and how you can craft cocktails, and just a discussion around it. So invite everybody here to follow us at Mexico in a Bottle Instagram accounts, and you can see soon, you know, the other videos that we'll be launching. And then we're also doing a Mexican pop-up bar at a Dia de los Muertos dinner on October 28th, and excited of what we're going to make happen there. But I want to say thank you all for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. We don't have our November program set yet, mostly because we know that so much of the attention of the world is going to be here in the United States on the upcoming election. And we will pick things up after that. And then, yes, just encouraging folks to vote. But Victor, thank you so much for your time. Great meeting you. And Gilbert, as always, love talking to you. Can't wait to do it live and in person. And a very big thank you to Ilegal Mezcal.
Yeah, yes, let us know.
I will.
You will have to, your first shot needs to come from the still, you know, like, straight from the still, just the body of the mezcal. That will be your welcome back.
There will be no argument from me on that.
Thanks to a Mexican pop-up bar will be there on there as well.
Again, illegal.tv on the Instagram account.
Yeah, and
okay.
I just want to say one thing that I always like to say when I'm done with these type of talks, is that mezcal is a communal spirit. It's community based, not competition based, I think. And when you drink mezcal, you're part of our community, whatever brand you're drinking. I think that it's really important to know that we're all connected through this beautiful spirit. And, you know, nobody drinks alone when we're drinking mezcal. We're part of this community, right? Love your neighbor. Salud.
Very true.
Vote.
Salud. Thank you. Vote.